In this example, I'm going to show you how to create an announcement banner. You'll see here one that I've already created and that we can use as an example. The first thing that we're going to do is drag a section onto our block. Within this section, you'll see that some text is already in there and aligned. We'll go check this out. Here's our section. I'm going to automatically make this our new header announcement. Now you'll notice that we need to have text directly in the middle and a text over on the right. So the first thing that comes to mind is to place a black background and have that text turn to white. Great, we have what we want. Now we can remove the padding on the top and bottom. Now we have this, we need to guarantee that this text will remain in the center no matter what kind of text appears around it. Now that we've created a box within our new header, what we actually want this box to do is stretch just like the header does. So what we're going to do here is make this a width of 100 view width. And then I always tend to take this section and there's a margin left property on it. So you can take that and apply it to our new box on the margin left. What that will provide us with is a ability to maintain the center no matter what text appears. What we'll want to do on this box is also set it as a position absolute so it can stay within the top level. Now because we've absolute positioned this, we also need to tell it where to position. So for instance, we need to place this at the top 0 point as well as the left 0 point. And now you'll see it's in the center of this box. So something that you might notice is that our text is actually getting scrunched down, and it's because that relative piece is no longer there. So one of the options you can do is set this background equal with the other background so that you have that fully available. Now you can actually remove any of this background if you'd like from the section itself. So now that we have one center, let's go ahead and create the link on the right side. So we can use the same box approach that we have and just copy and paste another box. This time though, however, we are going to take the text within it and we're going to align that to the right. We're also going to provide a little bit of padding off to the right side so that it doesn't get cut off. Now because we created a black on black and our topmost item is going to be this one, we actually need to set the opacity completely free on this. So now we have a center position and a right position. Now this is only one of many ways to make this occur. So make sure you set up how you want to do this. You could do this with flex boxes as well. For this example, I'm also going to just hard code a height on this. So we always want ours to be 25 pixels. We'll go ahead and justify the content and on both of these so that they're centered. Perfect. Now we have our complete layout. Now the cool part about this is, let's say you want, in your company, you want to reuse this just like I have this top level one. You'll notice the top one that I have already created is in purple. This purple represents a symbol which is reusable across your entire environment. So what we're going to do now is take our new header announcement and I'm going to right click, and if you just type in symbol in the search box, it will say convert to symbol. That's one way of doing this. I prefer always doing it that way. If you want to do another way, you can also click this drop down and convert to symbol. So I'm going to name this new header announcements. So what this is doing is taking our complete layout that we just created, and you can do this at any block level element, and we're going to create that symbol that will be reusable on all of our pages. Now one thing you might be asking is, well, what happens if that announcement changes per page? That's what's so great about this symbol that we are creating. You can actually add data inputs to this. Edit my new symbol, And you'll notice that there's nothing else on this page except for this symbol that you've created. So let's go ahead and take a look at the layers again. What we have here, we want to update this text and this text by dynamic data. So what we're going to do is make sure you're selected on the page, not on a block level. So if any of that's selected, go ahead and click in the header somewhere or on the page itself and make sure nothing's selected. And this way you can get to the data tab easily. So at this point, what you have is an item called content inputs. We're going to create a new field, and let's just call this field center. That's just going to be a text field. Make sure that you're always using a default value so that the text is always appearing for someone when they're creating this. So I'm going to go ahead and use center again for this default value. For the right item, we actually typically want a link over there. So for this, I'm going to create right object and then make this of type object. This object can have more than one field on it, so it's just like a JavaScript object. So for this one, I'm actually going to just link out to Apple. So I'm going to also create a URL, and that URL is going to be https://apple.com. So now we have our object and our center text. You'll notice down here that it provides values that we can add. Now once we've selected our center text, we will create a new binding. This binding gives us capability for taking any data in and updating it. So we'll select text, and then we'll click the drop down from, and we'll select center. So now for this right text, what we'll want to do is actually align the object to it. So on our text field, we'll go grab the right object, which will have Apple. And then we're also going to create a new binding for a link URL. That link URL, we need to hook up to this URL down here. Now that we have these both set, what we can do is take this and reuse it in any page. The one thing that I do want to do here is probably provide a underline styling for this, just so that people understand that this is a URL. So now when I go to my data tab, I should be able to put Apple and apple.com. And then I have my center text that will remain centered, and we should be all set and ready to go. So I will publish this update. And now what I can do is go back into the original page we were working on. And now this symbol, I'm going to refresh once just to make sure it updated. You might have to do the same. So I'm going to go to our new header announcement, which is a symbol. And you'll notice that on the symbol, you can either select from the options tab over here, or you can click the edit tab here. And that's how you make a symbol for a header. Now you can reuse this the same way in any page. You can copy and paste all you want. The one great part about this, which I'll show you right now, when I go back over to my symbol, let's say we changed our mind and our branding is completely changing. We can now select the box that represents our color, and we can actually switch this out. So if I go to style, and I'm just going to make it a crazy color, like this pinkish color, I'm going to click update. Now the great part here is when I go into our page, if I refresh this now, you'll notice that it updated to pink. This is a really powerful way of keeping your brand consistency all the way across your site. And that's how to create a header symbol.